release waste energy. So I'm able to take on other people's pain, and which is usually the only thing I take on myself, because I'm able to release it as a waste. But I feel all the emotions, and I shed the tears and all those things, but that's where the waste is released.
So sort of a baptism.
Kind of. I like to think it's a baptismal. It's kind of a cleansing too, but yeah, sort of.
So you talked about some of the experiences with a group of individuals that you had the opportunity to work with when you were on this latest journey.
Yes.
What was one of the more fond memories, if you will?
Well, there was this guy, and I was actually replacing him because he had a child. So he took a long leave. And I was replacing him, but he came back while I was still there, and I connected with him very well. He didn't need me, though. The other two people needed me. He didn't need me, but he was connected to me in a more loving way. Like I need those connections. I need to know that there are loving beings that are existing, which I know, but when you connect with them, it's a whole different experience, because you realize how much they are a part of you, that you are them and they are you. But there are people that you help that haven't realized how to connect. So they need you to show or guide them. I wouldn't say show so much, but to guide them. And that's what occurred.
Wow. Often enough in our everyday lives, we don't have the opportunity to connect at such a deep etheric level. And most people don't even know what that means, but that's sort of like a soul spiritual tie. It's very spiritual. It's very spiritual. And so, family, this is Spirit Speaks. So we have conversations that you may not necessarily get in your scripted reality TV. It comes straight from the heart. You're listening to April Phillips, our in-house guest this evening on Spirit Speaks. And this is segment 2 of our series on finding ourselves. So it seems to be that Miss April went to high country up in Colorado and had some extremely moving experiences. And that's what it's all about. We often don't know what the path is like, but when we lend a listening ear and open up ourselves to influence, we have what I like to reflect on as a teachable moment. So this is the part where I'm going to ask you, Miss April, to tell the family what you want them to remember most about this interview.
You know me, Spirit. I only have one word. When anybody thinks of me, I just want them to think of love, because that's all I am. I'm love in its truest form. It has no expectations. It has no confinements. It just is. It's just love for the sake of itself. And that's all I am. I require nothing. Just pure love. And love first. So, if someone asks me what was synonymous with myself, I would say love.
I would tend to agree with you in that regard. And so that's simple enough. Love. The greatest generative principle in the world. Like we say, you have a tendency to pay attention to what you care about and what you love. So I want to talk about some of the projects that you have been bouncing around and thinking about moving forward with. And you don't have to give us all the nitty-gritty details, but talk to the family about some of the projects that you foresee coming forward.
One of the things, the foremost and most, I think, the thing that I will be doing soonest is a book entitled The Sun People. Very powerful, very enlightening. People who are on this planet that are in their humanness and are like me and you will get it. Some people may not get it, but those who need it will. But it's powerful, and it has been delivered to me from the universe to give to you, and that I will. So that's the soonest thing. I have other things that I would like to do. Everything is all about, it's all about love. It's all about guidance. Nothing is about a step-by-step process of doing anything. It's all about where you are and where you are trying to go as you feel it. Not as you want to go, but as you feel the need to go. What's calling you, what that magnetic energy that's pulling you towards itself. And it's kind of just a guidance on how to look for it and know that it's there, but not to give you any directions, because directions aren't necessary.
And I would tend to believe that, being that you're such a free spirit, yes, pun intended. I'm excited about the possibilities. I'm excited for you just because of what I've learned about you. There is so much to give, and the projects are forthcoming. And family, I'm telling you, they're going to be the business. Definitely going to be the business. And before we get out of here, as we come to the end of this last segment, I still want to capture the professional side of April Phillips. So tell the family what you do on your W-2.
I am a histologist. A lot of people probably don't know what that is, but I actually work in the area, the medical field, in the area of pathology, and we do diagnosis on tissue, organs, anything that comes out of your body that is not fluid. And I've been doing that for 20 years, and I like it. I like medicine. I'm a scientist by nature, and it's just what I do.
How did you come into, because histology is not something that you will find in many campus catalogs. How did you come to learn about histology?
All guided, all by fate, by predestiny. I was actually going to go to school for something else. Someone presented a pamphlet to me, and they were going to help me with some of the things that I needed because I had loans that were in default. Like, all of this rectified itself in 30 days.
Wow.
And for those of you that are not deep into numbers, things tend to cycle in 3, 6s, and 9s. So in 30 days, it all rectified itself. They presented it to me. I read about it. I'd always deep inside kind of wanted to go into forensic pathology. I took an abilities and interest test. I scored off the scale in science professional. And when they presented that pamphlet to me, I was like, oh, yeah. It just hit me. This is what I should be doing. But I'm just going to do it for a little while. Then I'm going to go on and become a pathologist, a forensic pathologist. But that didn't happen. But it wasn't meant to happen. It was my vehicle to take me where I am right now. And everything is about the moment, because that's all we have. Nothing matters other than this very moment that we're in. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow is all this moment. And that's it.
Wow. That in of itself is powerful. And I think I shared with you that in my lifetime, and actually I can bring it home a little bit closer than that. In the last few years, I would have never known what a histologist was. And I've only met two, so to speak. Mm-hmm. One trained by trade, just happened to intern with a pathologist who needed someone at that particular time. Mm-hmm. And then you, that's literally two in the last 2 years.
Yeah, we're unicorn.
You are unicorn.
I'm a total unicorn within myself.
Oh, baby, yes, I believe that. Friends, you're listening to Spirit Speaks again with our in-house co-host this evening, April Phillips. And what a wonderful journey. Thank you so much for sitting in with us in the studio this evening and telling the family about how you came through your journey to find yourself. I look for a lot of wonderful things coming up from you, Miss April.
Thank you.
I definitely appreciate you imparting some untraditional wisdom to the family, because sometimes we have a tendency to go too textbook.
Absolutely.
But it's wonderful when it can come from the heart, and the love that you exude for mankind and the universe is reassuring. We talked earlier about all of the craziness that's going on in the world right now. Tell the family in these last few moments why you picked today of all days to do this interview.
Oh, I picked today because I am an energy person. Everything is about energy, and I think a lot of us live this life and view life as the earth being a singular thing, and that's all that matters. But there's a support system for the earth called the solar system, and there's a support system for the solar system called the galaxy, and so forth and so on. So everything is guided by everything else, and it supports everything else. So energy is very important to me, and I understand the energy that comes from all things that has life: the sun, the moon, the stars, the trees, the flowers, you, everyone. And tonight happens to be a rare harvest moon. And for those that you don't know, the harvest moon is the first full or the last full moon of the beginning of fall. And usually it comes in September. It's the first moon after fall begins. And it normally comes at the end of September. But it's October, and it rarely comes in October. So I know that the energy was going to be great. We know that the moon controls the tides and the water. Water, maybe we can address at some other point, but is a powerful thing. All life comes through water. So for me, personally, the most energy is in water. And if the most energy is in water and the moon controls the water, then guess what? Energy is on fleek.
So now, because, I tend to believe that I'm cool, but as the youngins, and they'll say, no, not so much. So what the hell does fleek mean?
Fleek is like the top of the pyramid, the apex.
Oh, right.
There's
okay.
nothing better than that. Like, if you have something that is on fleek, nothing else is going to be comparable to that.
All right, so if that's like I'm rocking my new pair of Louis.
Yes.
And